Hello, fellow Midjourney people. In this video, I wanted to explore something more architectural for a change. I've been curious how Midjourney handles structure and form when pushed into more abstract territory, so I set up a small experiment using 4 different types of buildings: a bridge, a stadium, a suburban house, and a skyscraper. As always, I kept the prompts clean and consistent: landscape aspect ratio for the initial test, followed by portraits. Seed 777 was used throughout to make the results easier to compare. I didn't add any extra styling or parameters, just let the words do the work. Let's take a look at what happened when architecture meets imagination. Alien geometry. Structures shaped by non-earthly logic, unfamiliar angles, asymmetrical volumes, and otherworldly proportions that challenge terrestrial design norms. The bridges and skyscrapers embody alien geometry most strongly, with unsettling symmetry, surreal scale, and forms that defy human logic. Stadiums show inventive, otherworldly layouts, while suburban houses remain largely conventional, with only subtle hints of unfamiliar design. Biomorphic. Architecture, inspired by forms found in nature, mimicking the flowing, curved shapes of living organisms with smooth, fluid surfaces. Bridges and skyscrapers especially excel with intricate, lattice-like designs, while stadiums and suburban houses feature rounded, soft-edged contours that blur the line between built and living forms. Blobitecture. Characterized by bulging, amorphous shapes that appear inflated or liquid, often formed using advanced 3D modeling and unconventional materials. The Blobitecture sets mostly succeed in showcasing soft, rounded and sculptural forms, particularly in the bridges and suburban houses, which feature exaggerated curves and playful, organic massing. While some stadium and skyscraper examples lean more toward parametric or vertical green architecture, several still exhibit the bulbous, fluid qualities central to Blobitecture's identity. Brutalist decay. Brutalist structures shown in states of weathering or ruin, emphasizing raw concrete surfaces cracked, chipped, and stained by time. The bridges and stadiums emphasize monumental scale and weathered surfaces, while the suburban houses and skyscrapers reflect abandonment and structural wear, making the decay feel tangible and haunting. Concrete lace. Delicate-looking facades made of perforated or patterned concrete, combining brutal material with intricate, lace-like detail. Bridges and skyscrapers stand out with highly detailed, load-bearing ornamentation, while stadiums and suburban houses apply the motif more subtly but still clearly reflect the decorative meets structural intent. Corkscrew tower. Tall buildings that twist as they rise, giving the impression of spiraling motion or torque frozen in architectural form. Bridges and stadiums emphasize functional spirals, while suburban houses and skyscrapers push the idea further with whimsical or futuristic twisting masses, making the concept visually striking and consistently executed. Cyber-architectural. Designs with a digital age aesthetic, glowing accents, sleek surfaces, and fragmented geometry evoking cyberpunk or sci-fi settings. The cyber-architectural sets generally succeed, especially in the bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers, which showcase futuristic materials, layered structures, and digital age complexity. The suburban houses are more eclectic, some lean into neon-lit cyberpunk aesthetics, while others feel more stylized or retro-futuristic, making this category the most visually varied. Eroded. Buildings with parts seemingly worn away by wind, water, or time, revealing layered interiors or creating hollowed-out voids. Bridges and stadiums show the most terrain-integrated erosion, while suburban houses and skyscrapers effectively convey decay through cracked foundations, exposed forms, and crumbling facades. Helical. Structures that spiral around a central axis in a smooth, continuous curve, often resembling a DNA strand or staircase. All 4 grids successfully embody the helical concept, featuring elegant, spiraling forms that wrap around central axes with visual continuity. Bridges and skyscrapers emphasize dramatic twists and vertical motion, while stadiums and suburban houses translate the helix into more grounded yet clearly coiled spatial layouts. Honeycomb. Architectural patterns based on hexagonal grids, creating modular, repeating elements that resemble a beehive structure. The honeycomb theme is clearly expressed across all four categories, with bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers featuring strong hexagonal frameworks or perforated facades that evoke the structure of a beehive. Suburban houses vary more in intensity, some lean literal with patterned exteriors, while others are subtler, but all maintain the core geometric motif. Inside out. Designs that expose internal systems, pipes, staircases, beams on the exterior, reversing conventional architectural concealment. The inside-out concept is best captured in the suburban houses and skyscrapers, which clearly expose interiors, utilities, or structural layers that are typically hidden. Stadiums and bridges interpret the theme more abstractly, through surreal openings or reversed perspectives, resulting in a looser but still visually engaging execution. Liminal. Spaces that evoke transience or in-betweenness. Empty hallways, unfinished constructions, or surreal thresholds between states. Bridges, stadiums, and suburban houses feature haunting lighting and stillness, while the skyscrapers use fog, isolation, and towering voids to suggest existential ambiguity and emotional disconnection. Melting structure. Buildings that appear to sag, slump, or liquefy, as if made of soft wax or ice under heat, defying structural logic. The melting structure theme is well captured across all four categories, with bridges and stadiums showcasing fluid, draped forms and dripping textures that evoke structures dissolving or sagging. Suburban houses and skyscrapers push the surreal further, appearing partially liquefied or deformed, successfully translating the melting concept into visually compelling and imaginative architecture. Metabolist. A modular megastructure concept with flexible, cell-like units that can grow, adapt, or be replaced over time, organic but futuristic. The Metabolist concept is best realized in the skyscrapers and bridges, which feature modular, stacked elements and megastructural forms that echo the style's futuristic, growth-oriented philosophy. Stadiums show hints of metabolist layering, while suburban houses are the weakest match, leaning more into retro or curved forms than true modular adaptability. Modular. Designs based on repeatable, interchangeable units, emphasizing scalability, prefabrication, and structural efficiency. The modular concept is well represented across all four grids, especially in skyscrapers and suburban houses, which clearly showcase stackable, repeatable units and flexible configurations. Bridges and stadiums also reflect modularity through visible assembly segments and component-based structures, emphasizing function, adaptability, and prefabrication. Neofuturism. Sleek visionary architecture with flowing lines, high-tech materials, and optimistic space-age aesthetics pointing toward the future. The Neofuturism theme is strongly expressed in the bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers, which showcase sweeping curves, luminous surfaces, and bold structural innovation, hallmarks of a visionary, tech-driven aesthetic. The suburban houses, while less extreme, still hint at futurism through clean lines, retro-futuristic colors, and unconventional shapes, maintaining thematic consistency. Organic. Structures that grow from the landscape, with curves, asymmetry, and material choices that harmonize with nature. The organic theme is very well represented across all four structure types, with bridges and skyscrapers especially excelling through flowing, root-like forms and integrated greenery. Stadiums and suburban houses also follow nature-inspired shapes and textures, emphasizing harmony with the landscape and structures that feel grown rather than built. Parametric. Algorithmically generated architecture with complex, data-driven curves and patterns that respond to environmental inputs or formal rules. The parametric theme is most successfully expressed in the bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers, which feature complex, algorithmic forms, fluid surfaces, and repetition-driven geometries typical of computational design. The suburban houses, while more restrained, still reflect parametric influence in their dynamic rooflines, unconventional volumes, and hints of modular logic. Phantom structure. Ghost-like or semi-transparent buildings, often implied by light, scaffolding, or partial forms, suggesting absence, memory, or the ethereal. The phantom structure theme is well represented across all four types, with bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers often appearing ghostly, decayed, or cloaked in surreal atmospheres that evoke disappearance or liminality. Suburban houses stand out with dreamlike, gravity-defying forms and muted, washed-out tones, effectively conveying the eerie unreality the prompt suggests. Radial symmetry. Designs that radiate from a central point with rotational symmetry, often seen in circular or star-shaped architectural plans. The radial symmetry prompt is executed with precision across all four grids, with each structure type, bridge, stadium, suburban house, and skyscraper, demonstrating clear, circular arrangements radiating from a central axis. The visual symmetry is especially striking in aerial and interior perspectives, creating strong, cohesive compositions that fully embody the concept. Rootlike. Architecture that mimics the tangled spread of roots, branching, sprawling supports that anchor or twist through space. The root-like theme is strongly conveyed across all four grids, with bridges, stadiums, and skyscrapers entwined in massive, organic root structures that blend architecture with nature. Suburban houses especially stand out with surreal, whimsical visuals of homes literally growing from or consumed by roots, making the theme both literal and visually compelling. Spiral. Forms that coil around a point, ascending or expanding outward with dynamic motion, often used for ramps, towers, or staircases. The spiral theme is clearly and effectively depicted across all four structure types, with each showcasing bold, fluid curves that coil around a central axis. Bridges and skyscrapers emphasize dramatic visual twists. Stadiums present captivating aerial spirals, and suburban houses creatively apply spiral forms to stairs, layouts, and entire buildings, staying faithful to the concept. Tension architecture. Structures held in balance through tension, cables, stretched membranes, or counterweights, often appearing delicate yet strong. The tension architecture theme is well executed, especially in the bridges and stadiums, which feature dynamic lines, structural tautness, and cable or beam-driven forms evoking literal tension. Skyscrapers and suburban houses also reflect the concept through sharp angles, dramatic verticals, and contrasting elements that visually imply forces being pulled, stretched, or balanced. Twisted. Buildings that contort along a vertical or horizontal axis, creating a visual torque that defies standard symmetry. The twisted concept is vividly portrayed across all four structure types, with bridges and skyscrapers especially showcasing dramatic spirals and contorted forms that redefine structural expectations. Stadiums and suburban houses also reflect the theme well, with curling elements, warped geometry, and surreal deformations that make the twist literal and stylistically consistent. Warped. Surfaces or volumes that bend, ripple, or undulate in unexpected ways, producing a surreal or dreamlike distortion of form. The warped concept is vividly realized in all four structure types, with bridges and stadiums featuring surreal distortions in perspective, curvature, and flow that defy physical logic. Suburban houses and skyscrapers also embrace the theme with exaggerated leaning, twisted stacking, and fluid deformations, creating a consistently dreamlike and unstable visual effect across the board. So those were the results from this little architectural experiment. I really enjoyed seeing how each structure responded to the same prompt in such different ways. Some were spot on, others a bit surprising, but that's exactly why I love doing these kinds of tests. It gives you a glimpse into how Midjourney interprets form, space, and structure under minimal guidance. If you'd like to explore further, the full prompt PDF with all the images and some extras is available on my Patreon, and now also on my new Ko-fi page, which I've added as an alternative way to support the channel. Both have the same content, So, you can choose whichever one works best for you. A big thank you to all of my patrons. Your support truly helps me keep making these videos. I'll leave your names on screen here for a moment. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, leave a comment, or subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps with visibility and lets me know you'd like to see more content like this. Thanks again for watching, and let's continue prompting.